Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey and today these are the two sets that I will be making. Most of the components came from the June 2022 Sam's bead box. And I have to say I'm super happy with how they came out. And the way I came up with this is I was creating this set first, and I just absolutely love those butterfly beads, those turquoise butterfly beads with that silver wash. When I was making this, I was sort of thinking about how they kind of look like ice and frozen and frozen things. And so it got me thinking when I was looking at the other beads in the box, how it could be, you know, there were a lot of reds and oranges and kind of amber colored beads. And it just got me thinking of fire and ice. And I don't know really where it came from, but that's where my mind took it. I thought of having a theme for this video, a fire and ice theme. I finished this set with a multi-strand necklace, and I used those really pretty turquoise drop beads. And of course, as you can see, I added them as the dangle for the earrings as well. Just kind of ties them in really nice together. And for the fire side of the theme, I wanted to make sure I used those tiara cast components, the charms for the bottom of the earrings, along with the pendant for the kind of main focus of the necklace. So if you would like to see how these two sets, fire and ice, came about, then stay tuned. We're gonna start right off with the tools that I will be using for this project. I'm going to be using two sets of chain nose pliers and one set of cutters, one set of round nose pliers, and one set of crimping pliers. And I want to quickly mention my tool set. It is called the Casual Comfort tool set. In my experience with this tool set, which I've had for a while, it is very high quality, very well made. And one of the biggest reasons that I really like this tool set, other than it being high quality, is the grips. They're a lot more comfortable to use. A lot of times in the stores you will see tools that are quite a bit smaller, and they certainly function, but they don't necessarily, well, for me personally, they don't fit my hand quite as well. I found this tool set and thought I would give it a try, and I am very glad that I did. I highly recommend this tool set. However, even if you don't get this tool set, I just recommend investing in your tools. It is a very good investment in my opinion. All right, so everything that I used today that did not come from Sam's bead box, I will link below, including my tool set. All right, so I'm going to be starting with the ice side, the blue beads for the fire and ice theme that I have for today. The first bead that I will be using will be this check glass twist oval. And as you can see on its side, it is not completely flat. It is twisted. And then I will also be using these check glass butterflies with a silver wash. And it's the same print on both sides. Of course, the hole goes straight through. And then from my own stash, on both the fire and the ice side, I'm going to be using my 4mm pearls. Of course, for this one, they're going to be this ice blue color. And I'm going to be using 4mm bicone beads on both of them. And for this one, I'm going to be using this almost turquoise color. Very similar, if not almost the exact same color as these twisted ovals. And then all the findings came from my own stash. I'm going to be using these 14mm jump rings, and then of course crimp covers, crimp tubes, guardian wires, jump rings, and I'm going to be using these small 3mm spacer beads and this round link chain. Each one of these pieces is about 5.5 inches long. I will also be using 49 strand bead along wire. I always get it in the 100 feet because I go through it so quickly. I'll be using the color Bright, which is this silver color. And as you can see, I'm getting towards the end of this strand. I need to repurchase it myself. So here is how we're going to start this strand. Going to put on a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a guardian wire. Put it through one side, wrap it around, and put it through the other. You want to make sure that jump ring is up in the guardian wire and that crimp tube has both ends of the wire going through it. I'm going to pinch that guardian wire closed with my fingers and push that crimp tube up. I want to make sure that I separate the wires so that they're not overlapping inside that crimp tube. I'm going to pull on this strand, make sure it's nice and snug. All right, I'm going to go in there with my crimping pliers into that second groove. Give it a smash. Get that taco shape, turn it on its side. Go into that first groove, give it another smash. And that gets it pretty good, but I like to go in with that flat part at the end and give it the final smash. And that gets it nice and snug. All right, now I'm going to go in with my crimp cover and I'm going to put it right over that smashed crimp tube and flip it up just like that. And go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. Then I'm going to go front to back, make sure it has that round shape. And there you have it. That is how you start off each strand. So now it's going to simply be the order of the beads. So I'm going to put on a 4mm round, bicone, another 4mm round, spacer, and the twisted oval. All right, so now we're going to tuck everything in, tuck that tail in. All right, so there we go. I like how that crimp cover gives that illusion as the first bead. So now we're going to do this 1.5 more times. All right, so here you go. Here is one side. So by 1.5, I basically meant put that same pattern here, one bead, that would be one, and then do that part on the other side. So here is one side, and now we're gonna do that center component. So we're going to start off with one of those butterfly beads. And right now on the string, it's gonna be facing, I guess, down, but it's not gonna be facing that way. It's not gonna hang that way on the necklace. And then we're going to do that same center pattern, spacer, 4mm, bicone, 4mm pearl, spacer, and then you're going to have the other butterfly facing the other direction. So there is that center component. And now we're going to do this exact same thing on the other side. All right, so here is the strand. Now, it's very important that you do not end with a spacer bead. Similar to that beginning, that crimp cover is going to give that illusion as the first bead. So you want to end with just that spacer, pearl, bicone, pearl. So here is that strand, and now we will close it off. We're going to put on a jump ring, crimp tube, wire guardian, put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. And then you want that jump ring to be inside the wire guardian and both ends of the wire through the crimp tube. So I'm going to hang on to that jump ring and pull it just a little bit, and then I'm going to put that tail through the first couple of beads. I'm going to grab that tail, grab a jump ring, and just kind of pull it down. I'm going to pinch that guardian wire closed a little bit with my fingers, and then make sure that this tail is pulled to where it's nice and snug. So you want it to be snug, but you don't want it to be too stiff. You want there to be flexibility in the strand. So you want to move it around a little bit, maybe curl it, because if it's not flexible, it doesn't hang right, and you legitimately have to do the entire strand over again. So I'm going to hang on to that tail, and I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot, give it a good smash, get that taco shape, flip it on its side, go in with that first divot, give it a smash, and then I'm going to go in with that flat part at the end, give it the final smash, so it's good and snug, just like that. Then I'm going to take a crimp cover, place it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, and then flip it up. I'm going to go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. It's very easy to get a heavy hand with these crimp covers. And then I'm going to go front to back, give it that round shape, just like that. Then I'm going to go in with my cutters right at the tail and get as close as I can. Cut the tail off, and then, oh, it looks like it already went into that next bead. But you want to make sure the little nub of it goes into that next bead, but that one just kind of, well, you can sort of see it there. It's just the right length where you can't see it. There you go. All right, so this is the shorter strand. I'm going to bring my ruler down, and you can see this strand is right at 8 inches. So we're going to now look at the longer strand. All right, so I have already made the longer strand, and I will talk you through it just a little bit because the process is exactly the same as that shorter strand. The way it started off is the same thing with the jump ring, guardian wire, crimp tube, crimp cover, same process. Past that, it's just the order of the beads. So I have the same bicones and 4mm pearls and spacers. So those same beads are used. And here is the order, and I'll go through it a little bit slow so that we can, so that if you make this, you can see the order that I have. I have my own bead caps, and then these are the rondelles that came in the bead box. And of course I put the same bead cap on either side, and then that same pattern with the spacer, pearl, bicone. Now here I used the seed beads, the 11-0 seed beads that came in the box, followed by the check glass teardrop bead. It came in a brio mix, and these are of course the blue/turquoise ones that came, and I put a seed bead on either side, and then of course followed the same pattern and repeated it. Here you go. Here is the pattern of the beads for the longer strand. It is just repeated. And of course, the exact same process was used to close it off as in the first strand. Same process. And this strand is 1 inch longer. It comes in right at about 9 inches. So again, we have the shorter strand that's 8 inches, and the longer strand is about 1 inch longer. So now we're going to put the necklace together. So I have the 14mm jump ring, and I'm going to connect the ends of each strand. And then while I have this jump ring open, because you don't want to keep opening and closing the same jump ring, I'm going to go ahead and put the last link in the chain on the jump ring, just like that, and close that jump ring. Then I'm going to take my other 14mm jump ring and place both sides on it, both of the other sides, and then that last link in the chain, and then close that jump ring. And now you need to put the clasp. So I'm going to take a 6mm jump ring, connect it to the other side, last link, and then connect it to a lobster clasp. And for the other side, I'm just going to put the jump ring by itself and connect it to that last link. Close the jump ring. Then you can connect the necklace. So here is the final piece. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the matching earrings, and we're gonna very quickly put this together. This is the set of matching earrings that I created to the necklace. All right, so we're gonna start by creating this upper component. You need an eye pin. You wanna make sure it's kind of as straight as you can get it. Sometimes they come a little wonky. And so the order is spacer, bicone, 4mm pearl, butterfly, 4mm pearl, bicone, spacer. Of course, you have to put the spacers on the earrings because there are no crimps or crimp covers or anything like that. All right, so I want to try to get the loops facing the same direction. So I'm going to put that on my finger facing up and down. I'm going to hang on to those beads. I'm going to go in right above that top bead with my round nose pliers and bend it. Bend it back with my fingers. Go in with my cutters. I'm going to try to hold on to that tail so that it doesn't go flying. I'm going to go ahead and put on that ear wire and then go in with my round nose pliers and close that loop. So there's that top component. And then the bottom, I got an 8mm jump ring, and I'm going to start by putting on a seed bead. Just like that. So put on that drop, kind of wiggle it around a little bit, and then you're going to put the other seed bead on. I'm going to try to do it with my other pliers so that you can see it. I feel like a surgeon. So there you go. And so that's a very simple pattern. And you're going to connect it to the bottom of the top component. And then close that jump ring. All right, so there's our earrings and our necklace for the ice side of the theme. Now, on to the fire. For the fire side of the theme, we are going to be using these beautiful banded agate smooth round beads. They're 10mm. These, I've got to say, I love kind of natural stone looking beads, of course. These are, of course, dyed, but these are absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be using those, and then we're going to be using the reddish / orange rondelles, the faceted round rondelles, and then of course we're going to be using another one of the teardrop beads. Of course, I went ahead and put the jump ring in it, This is going to be similar to those turquoise blue ones. And we're also going to be using the charms, the TerraCast components, the 2 charms, and the pendant that came in the bead box. These are going to be the earrings and the focal pendant for the necklace. Then from my own stash, we're going to be using the same spacer beads. For this one, we're going to be using these bead caps, flower-shaped bead caps. Also going to be using the larger flower-shaped bead caps. And the same 4mm pearl and bicone set, just different colors. We're going to be using these burnt orange pearls, and then this amber colored bicone. And then of course all the same findings, and then this curb link chain. So again, with the order of the beads, you can see I used the same 4mm pearl set along with those 10mm agates. I used the rondelles that came in the box, and then of course my own bicones, same set, the amber color. So big difference, and what I wanted to cut in here to show you how I did is that for that pendant at the end, I used that in the place of a jump ring. Now, to connect this pendant to that wire guardian, you can't do that after the fact. You have to do that while you are closing off. I have the other strand, which of course I started off, and I started with the smallest beads first and worked my way to the biggest beads. Now I'm going to close off that end, but I'm going to use this pendant in the place of a jump ring. So I am going to put on the crimp tube, the pendant, and the wire guardian. Put it through one side, wrap it around, and put it through the other. Then, just like you would the jump ring, you're going to put that pendant up in the wire guardian, and then you're going to make sure both ends of the wire go through that crimp tube. I'm going to pinch that wire guardian close with my fingers, and then hang on to it while I pull that tail up here. I want to make sure the tail goes through the first couple of beads. And I'm going to hang on to that pendant just like I would the jump ring and make it snug. Now, just like before, you don't want to make it too snug. Make sure it's moving. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second groove and give it a good smash. Get that taco. Turn it on its side. Now that pendant's going to make it a lot heavier. That's why I have my finger up there to kind of counterbalance the weight of that pendant. Give it that smash in the first groove. And I still want to go in there with that flat part at the end and give it the final smash so that it's nice and snug. I'm going to take that crimp cover, put it right over that smashed crimp tube, flip it up, go in with my chain nose pliers, and give it a good smash. You want to go front to back. Make sure it gets that round shape. And then go in with my cutters as close as I can. And then go in there and tuck it into that next bead. Or in this case, bead cap. Just like that. So now you have both guardian wires connected to that pendant. And all of the other connections are the same as far as adding the chain, adding the clasp, onto your necklace. So the last thing that I'm going to add is my drop to the front of the pendant. I'm going to take my jump ring, add the drop to it, and then I'm going to connect it through both of the guardian wires, just like that, right in the front, and then close that jump ring. And that way, that drop hangs right in front of that pendant. So there we have it. So now we'll very quickly make the earrings that go with this set. Here is the pair of earrings that we'll be making. Of course, we're going to focus on that charm that matches the pendant for the necklace. We're going to start with an eye pin. We're going to have bead cap facing up, red rondelle, bead cap facing down, and 4mm pearl. Last one will be the spacer. So to make the loop on top, we're going to go just above that top bead, bend back with our fingers, go in with the cutters, and before we close that loop, we're going to add the ear wire, go in with our round nose pliers, just like that. And now to connect the pendant at the bottom, you're going to go in with your round nose pliers, open that loop, connect the pendant, and close it right back, just like that. So here are the earrings I made to go with the fire side of this theme to match the necklace. So now I'm going to set everything up on my display so we can see it better. All right, so here they are, and I am very excited with how they came out. I absolutely love the idea of the theme, the fire and ice theme. I feel like it went really well with the beads this month from Sam's Bead Box. I really loved the butterfly beads on the turquoise side, that silver wash. It really, to me, it just made them look like ice. It made them look like they were frozen. And it was genuinely the start of the inspiration for this set. And I really love those tiara cast components. I think it really ties this side together. And with it being the fire side, it almost, in my head, makes it look like the tree in that image is on fire. But again, I know my mind tends to create as I go. I can't help it. But I really love these two sets. And if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I would love to hear your opinion on these two sets. Also, what is your opinion on the idea of having a theme for some videos and maybe having multiple jewelry sets in one video? I kind of like it. So tell me what your thoughts are. I absolutely love reading your comments. You guys are so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.